Yes. Okay. All right. Good morning to all of you. Uh, Hope you are doing well. This is Mohammad Abu Shama, sales head at Sheikh Anwar Accounting and Auditing LLC. So, actually, we have planning to just launch our webinar series on AML, VAT, and corporate tax in the UAE. So, this is our first webinar on the topic diverse inquiries emerging in the inspections. So the objective of this webinar is to educate the people about the diverse inquiries emerged by the authority in the UAE so that they can understand and they can get aware that what the inspection, how the inspection they can handle and they can run their business very smoothly with the peace of mind. So for the today's webinar, our speakers are CA Sheikh Anwar Hussain and Mr. Ameer Hamza. So coming back to the CA Anwar Hussain, he's a chartered accountant from India, and he has started his own career in the gold industry from last more than 5 years. And he has worked in India in the top big four companies like PwC, and later on he has moved to UAE and started his own company as Sheikh Anwar Accounting and Auditing LLC. He has a vast experience in dealing with the gold industry clients and helping them in the inspection and also helping them in the business consultancy and financial services. He has worked with the teams to deliverables on the good time, and unfortunately he was not able to attend today's webinar as he has an urgent work to in India, so he has traveled to India, but he has messaged for you. So I want to share the screen so that you can get their message. Let me allow to share the screen.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. Thank you all for joining today's webinar. I hope you are excited to deep dive into the learning ahead and gain some valuable insights. Unfortunately, due to some personal matter, I will not be able to attend today's session as I need to travel to India. I truly regret missing out on this opportunity to connect with you all. However, I am very pleased to inform you that Mr. Ameer Hamza will be the leading today's session. He is highly knowledgeable and bring extensive expertise in the field of AML compliance. I am confident that you are in the great hands. I wish you all a productive and insightful learning experience, and I look forward to catching up you with soon. Hope a wonderful session and happy learning. Assalamu alaikum.
So these were the message given by our director, Mr. C. Sheikh Anwar Hussain. Now I want to introduce our another speaker, Mr. Ameer Hamza. Ameer Hamza is our ML expert at Sheikh Anwar Accounting and Auditing LLC. He has completed his Master of Business Administration in Finance from Vishwesvaraya Technological University, Karnataka, and he has vast experience in ML domain rather than just theoretical knowledge. He is working closely with the gold clients and the gold industry and helping them in ML inspection so that they can run their business very smoothly and manage their compliance work smoothly. Now I request Mr. Ameer Hamza to give the insightful over the today's webinar topic. Mr. Ameer Hamza, please.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Abu Shama, for the warm welcome. I hope I am audible enough. Okay, so before I start, let me thank Almighty Allah by at least saying Alhamdulillah for making us all part of yet another beautiful day. Okay, so today's gathering today's online gathering is focused more on addressing some of the inquiries that has been happening, that has been asking in the AML inspection. You'll not believe me. Last 10 days, I have attended 7 inspections, or I could say that I could proudly say that I was able to help our clients. Seven. Yes, you heard me right. 7 inspection in last 10 days. So me along with our managing director, we thought we should come up with a webinar there where we are able to educate not just our client, but for everyone, to make them understand what are the mistakes that has been happening. I hope I am audible enough and my screen is also being shared, right? Some of you can raise your hand in the chat box so that I know that my voice is audible and my screen is getting shared. Yeah, any 2 or 3 members, they can raise their hand so that I'm sure that my screen is getting shared.
Yes, Ameer Hamza, your screen is shared and you are audible.
Okay. Well, first thing first, see, putting compliance management or compliance framework into work is absolute. Okay, you cannot ignore this thing unless and until you want to avoid some trouble into your business or into your organization. Now then, once you have incorporated the AML framework, the authorities will connect with you through an email or through a phone call to test the effectiveness or to audit your entire AML framework, that how it's been functioning or how it's working in terms of detecting the money laundering activities, and help to fight against the money laundering and terrorist financing activities. So this is must. You should have a compliance framework that should be running in your businesses. Okay, let us have a brief overview of the compliance inspection. These are some of the points that I included, considering the you know, time disadvantage that we have here. So preparation. So how are you going to prepare, or when are you going to prepare? Will it be on the day of inspection, or will it be a day before, or will it be a week before? I want you all to ask yourself that how and when will you start your preparations? No, my dear friend, let me tell you what you have to start preparation from the day of your business is getting started, or from the day that your business had uh, started functioning. How? By adhering to some of the regulatory requirements that is must, and which we will talk about in the coming slides. Okay, second, documentation review. You should have a review on your AML policies, that is it updated frequently, or is it missing some recent updates from the authorities. You can also review your due diligence that has been performed, CDD and EDD. Of course, you have to give more focus on the enhanced due diligence that you have performed on your clients who are falling under the high risk categories. And you can also review the reportings that has been done during the period. You must review your screening. You must go through all these things beforehand. Now, duration, it depends on the type of inspection that you get. In my experience, I would say I had attended an inspection of 30 minutes, 1.5 hour, and maximum was 5 hours. Yes, you heard me right. 5 hours of inspection. That depends on officer, as well as the type of inspection that you have been given the notice of. If I talk about the attendees, you know, from the authorities, they would ask from your organization to ask your shareholder, to be very specific here, not to be generic, your shareholder to attend the inspection along with your compliance officer. Plus, if you have a contract with any AML consultancy, even they can join you for an inspection with the appropriate measure, that is by submitting the authorization letter. And officers from their side, it would be usually 2 to 3 officers. If I talk about the online inspection, okay, 2 to 3, not more than that. No, not more than that. Repetition, yes. you can get another notice for an inspection within the same year, or within the same quarter also. We have some of our clients who have been in this situation, that they completed one inspection in the previous quarter, and immediately the next quarter they received another inspection. So that again depends. Maybe I could say this is purely based on your luck, that will you be called for another inspection or no. So let me shed some lights on some of the areas of regulatory focus. Okay, appointment of money laundering reporting officer is must. For the reference, if you go through the article number 20 of Cabinet Decision number 10 of 2019, it is clearly mentioned that your organization should appoint an money laundering reporting officer, or we also this is also known as the compliance officer of your company, who will be at the wheel, who will be looking after everything that has been going on in your compliance management. Training and awareness. Yes, training and awareness is also must, and it is a regulatory requirement. Training not just for the namesake. Your staff or your employees who are looking after the compliance must be competent enough to identify the things, what is going on, to judge from the eye of accusation, I could say. Maybe I'm wrong in the using the word accusation, but what I mean to say is your staff must be competent enough, understand each and every transaction, from to understand the motive behind the transaction, analyze the things, to analyze the documents that is being provided. That is why training and awareness is must for your staff, and not just you take one training and consider is okay, we have met the regulatory requirement uh, that was must. No, you have to update on this awareness program for your staff on the regular basis. Moving further, policies. Okay, AML policies will form a comprehensive AML framework that will help your business to identify, to detect, to prevent, or to respond to money laundering activities that would be happening. Plus, your AML policies will safeguard not just your business but the entire financial system of the UAE. Reporting is one of the major duties of the money laundering reporting officer, where he has been given a full authority as per the article number 15 of Federal Degree Law number 20 of 2018. If the MLRO has any grounds for a suspicion, he must report. It is not his duty to investigate and see whether his suspicion is true or it is just a false alarm. No, that is a secondary thing for a compliance officer. If he has any suspicions, just report it on the FIO's government portal. Screening. Okay, when we talk about screening, for the reference, you can read Article 13 of the Cabinet Decision number 10 of 2019. It is clearly stated from the government side that your business is not prohibited to establish a business relationship with the second party unless and until you do the due diligence without also without compromising the flow of the business. Okay, and screening is a part of your due diligence. Screening is a part of your due diligence. Now, if we are talking about the manual screening, it is a really headache. It is so seldom that we don't see the manual screening nowadays, because it is very complex, because you have to go through each and every documents, cross check it, verify it, and you also require some of the trusted sites or trusted databases, okay, to do the manual screening. That is why the latest addition to this screening is a screening software tool that has come into the picture here because of the screening. Now you must make sure that your software screening is accurate enough. Plus, your screening software includes the two major list, or in the the law term, I could say I'm referring to the Cabinet Resolution number 74, which talks about the local terrorist list and United Nations Security Council resolution list. This two list is must at any cost. Rest you have the KYC 6 or Dow Jones report, that depends on your customization of the screening software. Audit. Again, for the reference, you can read the article number 20 of Cabinet Decision number 10 of 2019. Audit is must. You should have an AML audit done in order to see the effectiveness of your entire compliance management and what are the things that has been lacking. Moving further, these are some of my concerns based on my observations throughout the previous inspections that I have been attending. Okay, these are some of the inquiries that has been asked from the authorities to your compliance officer. Plus, of course, your owner will also be accompanying you in the inspection. But the questions are always asked to the compliance officer itself, unless and until they have a very specific questions that they want to ask to the owner. Okay, now my first concern is the mail. It's the mail. Okay, once you receive a mail or a phone call from the authorities, make sure that you respond to it. Although they give you some time period, but do not delay in responding to the mail, because mail itself is a very alarming or a very concernful thing. I'll tell you why. If you fail to respond to the mail as per the law, you will be penalized or fined from 50,000 dirhams to 5 million. Yes, you heard me right. Not responding to the email from the authority side will be considered as a violation. That is why make sure that you respond to the mail, okay, in a timely manner. If you are not able to understand or draft an appropriate response to the mail, then connect with the people who have knowledge about it. Okay, connect with the people who can help you to go through this or to help you give you a draft a suitable response. Next question or the inquiries that would be asked is the basic information about your organization. They would want you to present the updated trade license. Okay, make sure that not even by mistake, please make sure, if you guys are making a point of it, make sure trade license that you will be submitting during the inspection is updated. uh, okay, we have heard from our clients, although they had an inspection before they joined us, before we onboarded them, uh, we heard that by mistake they submitted the trade license which was not updated, which was expired. Although that looks that or that sounds a minor mistake, but it will make the officer, the authority, the people who are representing the authority very irritated, because they are taking this very seriously. And if you are doing this silly mistake, the impression that creates over there is that you are not at all giving your 100% focus on the inspection. And of course, the memorandum of association, you have to present the updated one. If there is any changes in the MOA of your company, make sure that you present that as well. And they will also ask you to submit or share the shareholders or the UBOs register. Most of the companies, they do have this, okay, UBOs register. They do have this. And if you don't have this, please make sure that you prepare it and keep well in advance, and don't be in a delusion that, okay, we have not received a mail yet. And do the necessary changes in the register. You can also show two register if there is a changes in your MOA. One register as per the previous MOA, and second register as per the redistribution of the shares as mentioned in the MOA. Okay, next, they will ask you to present your organizational chart mentioning the departments and the individual who is leading that department. Okay, business process, they will ask the compliance officer during the inspection to explain what is your a business activity, or what is the process of your operation in the business. And the compliance officer must be very smooth enough to explain this, what is the business process, what is the activity that they have been carrying. There should not be any lacking while explaining this part. Especially this is the main important part in the basic information of the entity, because the compliance officer is very nervous. Due to that, it is obvious that he will hesitate to use some of the words. But make sure that you're very clear enough when you're explaining your business process. Moving further, they will also ask you for the financial and banking information. In that, audited financial statement for the last 2 years. You can also present the immediate last year's unaudited or just a drafted financial statements. But given the fact that uh, if you are presenting, if there is a gap between the year that you report you're presenting it will create again a problem. So make sure that your financial audit report is there with you. Moving further, they will also ask you for AECB report, that is Al Etihad Credit Bureau report. You can visit, you can get this report. It's very easy. I'll tell you. You can visit etihadbureau.ae, the website. Then input your credentials. Let me check if I can show you how do we get. Uh, 1 second. Okay, am I sharing the screen properly? I hope this screen is visible. Okay, you can go to the etihadbureau.ae, click on businesses. There you will have an option for credit report. Click on that and apply now. And you have to input the details regarding your company, such as what report you want, and of course they are going to charge you 157 for the report, and for the score 10.5 10.55. Enter these details that they are asking. Click on next. Then you would be directed to a screen which will tell you that your AECB report would be presented once they notify you through an email. After that, once you receive an confirmation email, then you have to go to Al Ansari Exchange and pay the fees and then get the report done. Okay, that report should be submitted as well for the inspection. Okay, list of all bank accounts held by the company with a statement of account. How many accounts are you operating with for your business? They need that list plus statement of accounts for the last 2 years. Also, let me share one more thing. The authorities, the people who are representing the authorities will ask you to share your bank account number, IBAN number as well. Okay, it is not just that we write it in a word, okay, this much bank account we are having, and this is the statement of account. They will ask you on the day of inspection as well. Moving further, AML CFT policies and procedure. Now, my biggest concern here is, most of the people they are not aware. It is not just one AML CFT policies. Inside the AML CFT policies, there are certain other policies as well, and they are not at all aware about this. Even though we clearly mention that make sure that you read, you go through all the policies. It has been seen, or it is my observation that at on the day of the inspection, they are very nervous that they forget that they have other policies as well. Nevertheless, coming back to ML safety policy and procedure, make sure that it has been updated frequently, okay? Or at least when there is an update from the government, make sure that you update immediately after that and you include those recent updates in your AML policies. Then there is something that is AWRA, that is entity-wide risk assessment. They also ask you of this. So what is your entity-wide risk assessment results? Can you please share with us? Yes, they will ask you in the inspection. So most of the people, they are not at all aware what is the meaning of it, first of all. Okay, entity-wise risk assessment is something that is going to explain what risk your business is having in your sector, whether it would be a geographical or whether it would be your a product related risk and so on. So that policy is going to talk about that risk that you are having in your sector. Okay. Moving further, a KYC process and process of identifying ultimate beneficiary owner. The officer will definitely ask the MLRO how you are going to, identify ultimate beneficiary owner or the UBO of your prospective client. So the officer, the MLRO or the compliance officer goes blank, although it is mentioned in the your AML safety policy. That is what I said. Go through it. Make sure that you go through your policies. It is clearly mentioned how you are going to identify the UBUs. Okay, how will you handle PEPs? And this is a very common question. Uh, let's say in the inspections that I have been handling or attending, in 95% of the inspection, this question is asked. How will you handle PEP? So for this as well, there is a policy for your company. You make sure you read it. What is the process? What are the steps that you will take while handling pets? And sometimes they might also ask you, do you know what is PEP? Or they might start something like this. Do you know what is the term that has been given for so and so person? So like, they would say, they would ask in indirect way. What I mean to say is, they would say, what if Sheikh Hamdan or Sheikh Mohammed comes to your business, and how will you handle them? Plus, what is the term that has been given with respect to AML CFT laws in this situation? They would ask in indirect way, just to check how knowledge do you have in the domain, okay? Or just you have by hearted one word, and you're sitting for an inspection. They would check that. Going further, process of customer risk assessment. For this as well, there is a policy. Make sure that you read that as well. How you are going to assign a risk rating or a risk score, or how you are going to make a profile of your customer. Although your screening software does it, but the people who are representing the authorities will ask you, what is the accuracy of this screening software? Are you 100% sure that this is accurate enough? Or they would ask how the software or your screening tool, whichever screening tool you are using, how, on what basis, what are the criteria it is considering for profiling an any individual or an corporate clients. So make sure that you are aware of that as well. Now, process of record keeping, it depends on officer to officer. Sometimes they might ask you to directly show how you are maintaining the records, or how you are documenting the things. And sometimes they would just ask you a simple question, that for how long, what is the policy for record keeping, or how long will you be keeping your records relating to AML compliance framework. Process of implementing targeted financial sanctions. As I mentioned, this is related to the cabinet resolution number 74. How you are going to implement the, sorry, PFS. Okay, they will ask to show the policy of this as well. So make sure that you know this. Don't be in a state of unaware, or I have never heard this. Don't do this. Of course, there is a policy of TFS included in your entire, I mean, the whole AML safety policy. Moving further, now let me share some of the points about the compliance officer. They will ask you to share your curriculum vitae, and that should have your roles and your duties mentioned in the curriculum vitae. Okay, not just you give them or submit them any curriculum vitae that you have. Make sure that you mention your roles and responsibilities in your CV. And they will also ask you, are you assigned with any other role than just being the compliance officer of the company? Because it so happens, as per my experience and as per my observation in the market, since I've been in the market now, I observe that many of the companies, they don't assign a separate individual to look for a compliance management. Most of the time, it is the accountant or the accounts department which has been assigned with this role. That is why they will ask you, do you have any other role other than just being the compliance officer? Official agreement with third party. That is, if you have outsourced the compliance management department to any consulting firm. That is when this question will come to the picture. Really sorry. Latest periodical reports. Okay, now this is another really important point. What happens is, the compliance officer is not at all aware there is something called as periodical report that he has to submit to his management. They are not at all aware. So periodical reports are, reports that has been submitted by the compliance officer to his management or the company's management, just to make sure the management, or just to involve the management, because management involvement in the compliance management is another regulatory requirement. Okay, just to make sure that the management is aware that in the past quarter or let's say in the past week, or let's say in the past month, what are the compliance activities that has been done in the company. That is why these periodical reports are must, and it should be submitted by the compliance officer. They will ask you to show the periodical reports that you have submitted, findings, and they will ask you, okay, you have submitted this many latest periodical reports to your management. So what do you think, Mr. Compliance Officer? What is the finding that you observe since you have been handling it? So many of the people, they are not able to answer this. So make sure that you just don't copy any reports from ChatGPT or elsewhere. Please, please, please work on these reports. Let it be a genuine work. Let's not be a copy paste. Only then you will understand what is the finding, or what is the gap in the report, or what is the gap in your compliance management activity. Employee training plan attendance records for the training. The compliance officer will be questioned, what is your planning with regard to the your staff training, your staff awareness program. What is your planning? What do you think? How often your employees should be trained? These linked questions will be asked, and compliance officer are sometimes not able to answer. They would just say that no, we have done the training for our staff in the last year or in the previous year. Let me be very clear, that would make that would put you in a trouble, because a frequent training is must for your employees, and this could attract a heavy fine for your organization. And coming up with the employee or your staff training program, or plan, is another role or duties of the compliance officer. I guess before we move on to the next slide, uh, let us involve a small quiz and make it a little bit interactive session. Can we share the quiz, Abu Shama?
Yeah, sure. Is it visible?
Yes, it is visible.
So I request my all the participants to join in the quiz poll so that we can check it out that how much you have learned from this session. We will end this poll within a couple of minutes, means around 10 minutes. I think the 5 minutes is more for you because it's only, I think, 8 questions. So I want all your participation in this quiz. Only 1.5 minutes are left with you, so just wind it up. Forty more seconds are left with you. Just 10 seconds are left with you. We are going to end the poll. Hamza, please let me know that if we can share the result as well here, or else you want to give them in the end of the
What we'll
session.
do is, Abu Sharma, we'll mail them the result because again, it is going to take us 5 more minutes to, share the results. So it's better we will mail them.
Sure, sure. We can.
So
No worries. Okay. Thank you.
shall I proceed,
Carry on.
Abu
Yeah,
Sharma?
yeah, carry on. Yeah, carry forward.
Okay, thank you. Customer due diligence. Uh, in this regard, they would ask you how do you rate your clients, how you are going to give the risk classification. We all know there's a category of low, medium, and high risk, right? So they will ask the compliance officer, can you please explain us how your AML framework is built, and on what basis or what are the criteria that you consider to give the risk ratings or risk scoring to your clients. So as we discussed earlier, since it is a matter of screening tools now, the screening software will do it, but you should also know what are the factors that the software is going to consider while allocating the risk. Okay, most of the people, they make a mistake here. They would say, no, we don't know, it is just the screening software that is going to do it. Please make sure that you don't do it. You know the things that has been happening behind the curtain. Planned list, including risk rating. They will ask you to present a list of your clients, including the risk rating, their nationality, and the type of client. That is nothing but they are just asking you whether that particular client is your supplier or your customer. And they will also ask you to share the EDD and CDD forms. And they will ask you, can you please tell us what is the difference between EDD and CDD? And I want you all to understand that this is not just a one word answer for it. Don't let your answer be this is customer due diligence and this is enhanced due diligence. You're just telling the full form there. Okay, I'm really sorry if I'm being rude on this point, but you're just telling the full form there. They don't want to know the abbreviations. Okay, they want to check your knowledge, that how knowledgeable you are in this regard when it comes to customer due diligence perspective. Okay, they want you to tell the exact situation or exact circumstances that you will be uh, performing the customer due diligence or EDD measures. Sample KYC forms duly filled. Yes, they will ask you to show them the KYCs or the due diligence that has been done by your supplier or by your customer. Of course, not just They will be satisfied with the documents if you provide them like a trade license of your corporate clients or Emirates ID or other identification document of your individual client. No, they will also ask you to show us the due diligence performed. Moving further, coming to the PEP, politically exposed person, as I said earlier, they will ask the compliance officer, do you know what is PEP or who is a PEP or who is considered as a PEP or what are the criteria or you would consider to declare so and so person as a PEP? They will definitely ask. This is 100%, asked question in all the inspection that I have been handling. And they will also ask you to submit the PEP register with the senior management approval. So the trick over here is, I'll tell you what. Okay, PEP register will come into picture only when you have a PEP customer. Okay, if you're noting it down, please make sure that you write this point. PEP register will come into picture only when you have a PEP customer. If you don't have a PEP customer, there is no question of the PEP register. Okay, do I make sense? I hope this is a very simple sentence that I have been telling you. If you have a PEP customer, only then you will be submitting the PEP register. So what happens is, indirectly they will ask, first they would ask, do you have a PEP customer? The compliance officer would say no if they don't have a PEP customer. Then they would ask to submit a PEP register. Then, because of your research that you did prior to your inspection on the internet, you would create a PEP registered and you would take senior management approval and you would submit that register to the authorities. Then it will create a big issue and it can, attract fines as well. That they would consider here, there might be two circumstances. One is you are being dishonest. You are not making any sense. You are lying to the authorities. Plus, it would also mean when you submit a PEP register that you had a PEP customer. Maybe you did some, with some alteration while with not submitting the PEP clients. But since you have maintaining the PEP register, that means you had a PEP customer or a PEP client. It would create doubt in the authorities, in the mind of the authorities. That is why please make sure if you do not have a PEP customer, do not create a PEP register. Okay, I'm repeating myself. If you do not have a PEP customer, please do not create or do not maintain a PEP register. And they will ask you to submit your cash transactions of the past 2 years and virtual currencies if you are dealing with the cryptocurrencies for your payments or for your receipts. Even that will be asked to submit. Now coming to the very important point here, ongoing monitoring and transaction monitoring. This is something that been stressed by the authorities in the recent inspections. Okay, they will ask the compliance officer. So tell me, Mr. XYZ, what do you know about ongoing monitoring? They would start with like this. Okay, most of the cases they would start like this. What do you know about the ongoing monitoring? What do you think? What is ongoing monitoring? So most of the people they are not aware what is ongoing monitoring, and they will also ask, is your a procedure or a process of ongoing monitoring mentioned in your AML CFT laws? And let me be very clear, it should be mentioned. If it is not mentioned, you are in a huge trouble, my friends. Okay, now to give you an practical example, so there are different ways of performing ongoing monitoring. But ongoing monitoring is nothing but reviewing each transactions of your so and so client or so supplier, making sure that the due diligence that you have performed, let's say CDD that you have performed on your particular client has not crossed the days limit that you have mentioned in your policy. Let's say 30 days, let's say a quarter, 90 days has not crossed. If it is crossed, then you would re-perform the due diligence. That is uh, the exact meaning of ongoing monitoring, re-performing the due diligence measures. There are different ways if I talk about that. And another way of performing ongoing monitoring or transaction monitoring is, you know with the help of your screening tool, you can re-screen your clients or your suppliers rescreen with the same information. And if the risk category is been moved from low and medium to high, then performing EGD on them. Okay, they will also ask you to show them the list of red flags or the indicators, okay, that you have mentioned in your policy. They will definitely ask you this question. This is also 100% ask questions in every inspection. They will definitely ask you. They would sometimes they would also ask you, can you name any four or any three red flags that is mentioned in your policy before they ask you to show your ML policy. That means they want to check. Do you remember what are the red flags there in your policies? Because most of the cases it happens that red flags are mentioned in the policies 100%, but the compliance officer is not aware what are the red flags. That will show that you are not bothered about your compliance management. You are not bothered about what are the things that has been happening in your compliance management. You just have left it on your compliance team and you're just chilling and relaxing. No, you should know what are the red flags that your company has agreed upon in your AML policies. Reports raised through GoML reporting. Another really important duties of a compliance officer. If you go through the Article 15 of the Federal Degree Law number 20 of 2018, okay, they have mentioned very clearly that if you have a reasonable grounds to suspect, you should report it to the authorities without making any delays. So they will ask you about the different kinds of reports. Okay, what are the different kinds of reports there in the government portal, or what is difference? What are the differences between? They would ask you STR, SCR. They would ask you a situational. So they will give you a situation, and they would ask you in this particular situation what should be the report that you should submit to the authorities in a different angle surrounding on reports. Then they will also ask you what are the conditions for submitting DPMSR. Okay, this is not just 55,000. The threshold you should not be mentioning. You should also mention the other conditions such as whether it's bank to bank plus different bank or it's the same bank, whether it's currencies involved, uh, same currency, or different currency, different bank, different currency, same bank. Those things also they are expecting you to tell them. Okay, record keeping. They will ask you how do you keep the records, or how do you maintain the records. Show us. They will literally ask you to show us, share your screen and show us. And it should not be like you have created one folder and dumped all the documents over there. No, please not do not do that. Make sure that your document management is above the par. Okay, not just creating simple folder, create dumping all the documents, or creating one file, making hard copies, and putting it in somewhere that is very very negligence kind of things. So please make sure that your record maintenance or your process of record maintenance is very above the par. And they will also ask you, does this process of record maintaining mention in the policy or no? And they will also ask you the sample of entities files related to records documents. They will ask you to show. They will not just ask you and leave it. They will ask you to show. They need a proof that you not just written in the policies and left it blank. No, you are following your policies over and above the mediocre level. Moving further, we have TFS procedure. They will also ask you about what is your policy on the TFS, that is targeted financial sanctions. And they will also ask you the difference between FFR and PNMR, that is two kind of reports. And they will ask you whether these reports are mentioned in your TFS procedure, that means PFS policies. And they will also ask you to show or display the sample of screening results against TFS list. First of all you should know that what TFS stands for and what does the TFS procedure talks about. Okay, it is clearly talking about the cabinet resolution number 74, and it talks about the local UAE local terrorist list and the United Nations Security Council resolution list. You should know you should know, or you should have at least a brief knowledge of the TFS procedure, because they will definitely ask this question as well. I have seen people struggling while answering this question. Updates from EOCNP, they will also ask you to have how do you receive or how do you get updates, the recent updates from the department or from United Nations Security Council resolution list. How do you get the recent updates? So you have to subscribe to the EOCNP. Only then you will be receiving the recent updates through their email. Okay. Plus, it is not enough that you say yes. We you say that we have subscribed to their website and we are receiving it via email. You show them voluntarily. You don't wait for them to ask you, can you please show us? No, you voluntarily show them that you have been receiving the recent updates and you have been submitting the surveys that they are asking. Internal external audit, as discussed, internal or external audit AML audit is a must. You have to make sure that your AML audit report is ready well in advance. Don't wait for your inspection notice to arrive or inspection notice to knock on your door. Please do not wait for that. Make sure that you have an audit report ready, and when the authorities will ask you, submit it. Training. Okay, AML safety training. List of all the AML safety training programs conducted for the employees. They will ask you to provide for the certificates or your training records. They will ask you to show, especially the trainings that has been attended by the compliance officer. They will ask that as well. What are the other trainings that your compliance officer is having? Or have you, if you have attended any webinars by the government, by the authorities, you can display that as well. And many of the webinars, they will be submitting or they will be giving you their certificates, right? You can show them that as well. They will consider it as a training as well. Okay. Another important question with this regard, AML safety training, is that they will ask you, is your sales team considered? They will ask you, like, does your sales team is aware about your policies? Do you share the AML policies to other employees rather than just discussing with the compliance management team? And your answer should be yes, my dear. Okay, it is a known fact that there's a separate team for your company for managing the compliance work, but it is must that your other employees are aware of what are the policies that you have following. It is must, they should be aware as well. Okay. And not just for the namesake, tell them yes, yes, our sales team and our other staffs are aware as well. Please make sure that your other employees know it as well, because as I mentioned earlier, it is really important that your staff are competent enough, your employees or your colleagues are well competent enough to identify any suspicions in case in case the MLRO is absent or the deputy MLRO is having a trouble. So it creates a supporting hand for the compliance management team, I could say that. Now they will also, now coming to the last query, they can also ask you situational based questions. Okay, now let's say suppose if a customer is making a transaction with you on a frequency of 30 days or 15 days, 10 days, they will give you such kind of a situation. Or they will or they can also ask you, suppose any politician is coming to you and he wants to do a business, how would you handle, what are the things that you would perform? And they can put you under a situation and they will mention you two to three red flags or one red flags, and they want to know what report or how you are going to handle that particular situation. Sometimes they might not tell you, can you please tell in this situation what report will be suitable? No, they will not tell you that. They will just present a situation and they will ask you to address the situations. Okay. First of all, before I conclude, I would like to let everyone know that this webinar was conducted for just as an educational program or educational gathering. Okay, none of the points that I mentioned or that I spoke of is for consultation or is an advice. All right. I hope I'm making it very clear. Secondly, I really appreciate everyone putting their precious time into this and being part of this webinar. Thank you so much, everyone. Over to you, Abu Shahma.
Yes, thank you, Ameer Hamza, for giving your valuable time and making this session fruitful. And so I will request from our participants to, if you have any queries or any questions coming in your mind related to the inspections or PAPE or ML safety policy or whatever else is in your mind, you can drop a text to our WhatsApp number, or you can directly connect to us through our mails. I have already shared all this information in the chat box. You can check it out there and you can connect with us. So that's all. Thank you for joining our sessions, and I will also request you to join our upcoming webinars in future so that we can come up with some new information and make your sessions fruitful and for your business also. And so that's it from my side. So this is Mohammad Abu Shama, sales head from Sheikh Anwar Accounting and Auditing LLC. Thanks you for joining our today's session, and will anticipate your participation in our future webinars, in our upcoming webinars. You can also approach us through our social media channels, WhatsApp, mails, anywhere. That's it for today. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.